Hello there, beautiful souls. My name is Renika Hamilton. I'm so excited to be back with you today on my channel for self care. I'm your self care vlogger. I'm so excited because I've been on a healing journey over the last few weeks. It has been such an amazing, freeing, wonderful journey. Now, I can say that there have been days that it hasn't been like the best. There's been days where I'm just like crying all day. I don't even want to move. I don't want to get up. I don't want to do anything. But it has been all worth it. It's gotten me to this place where I am. 2 weeks ago, I started this series where I wanted to tell you kind of what led me to getting into this. Sorry, got to fix my mic here. Sorry. I wanted to talk about what led me to this journey. And I talked about like how I have found my identity in other people and not in myself. And so this whole personal journey for me was about me establishing for myself who I want to be. I know that sounds weird because I'm such an old lady, not old lady, but I'm older now and I should have been doing this. But life happens, things happen in life. I've had an interesting life, interesting set of events, interesting things that have gotten me off on this path of looking at life so totally different and wrong. And so this healing journey was about me looking at my life right, like looking at what I want to do, what I want to manifest, how I want to be, how I want to feel better. And so that was the reason for me going on this journey. So I talked about how one of my biggest things in life that I felt like has been such a huge area of opportunity for me was to be in love and to, be in a relationship. And while that is still on my heart, it's not a driving force for me anymore because what was happening is I was pushing myself into this like desperation part. Like I was really being very desperate. And it was as if God was talking to me through people's situations because he knows I love scrolling on TikTok, YouTube's, Facebook, Instagram. I like to do that on my free time sometimes. And occasionally these stories will come up and I will resonate with these stories. And so I talked about a few weeks ago how I saw these stories about these women and I was resonating and I was like, what's going on with me? I need to improve myself, blah, blah, blah. And so I started the journey. And so throughout the journey, I started tracking all of these different lessons that I was learning. So I talked about my first lesson, which was not putting the blame on other people or situations. The second lesson was all about forgiveness in yourself, forgiveness in the people who have harmed you or hurt you. This third lesson that I'm excited to share with you all today is about self-validation. And I'm going to talk about it through a popular story that's going on right now in TikTok and um, kind of relate to it and kind of help you see like how it just all dawned on me. So if you haven't seen or haven't heard, there was this lady on TikTok. She goes by the name of Marisa Teaser, and she decided to put out a 50-part series about uh, who the F did she marry. So, like Risa Tisa, she had this fantasy and this desire. She was in her 30s and she really wanted to be in love with somebody so bad. Girl, I relate. So, she meets this man. She's like doing all the things. She goes online to meet a man and they match on Facebook dating and they match on Hinge. And what turned out to be just like this really nice connection for her. This guy that seems to have it all. He's a vice president of a company. He used to be a arena football player. He has lots of money. He was taking care of paying her bills. He asked her to marry him. They moved extremely fast. Really did. Like after 2 weeks of knowing each other, they moved in with each other. Um, they got pregnant at one point and unfortunately lost the baby. Maybe fortunate for her. I hate to say that, but um, everything's going well. And as you can tell, it's going to turn into like this really nightmare story. But the premise of the story was she married somebody who presented himself to be something he truly was not. And he was playing on her delusion. He's playing on her desires to be with a man like who he was presenting. And it's so sad that we have so many women out here that have this desire to be with somebody that's um, going to fit their ideal like romantic partner, as if like we're in the once upon a time fairy tale stories, right? So this felt like a fairy tale to her, and it was a fantasy. He was a pathological liar. Um, he none of the things that he told her was true about himself. Um, Several people have come out now because she tried to hide who he was from everybody knowing, but he came out anyway. And so many people who have encountered him vouched for her, saying, "Yeah, this is legit. He truly lied to her." And you end up feeling bad for her. Like a lot of people didn't. Like there's been so much debate on, she should have known better, blah blah blah. And while I agree with that, I think what people are missing is when you have such a high desire to be with somebody, you want to be in a relationship. Sometimes you do kind of fall for traps a little bit quicker than other people who don't have that same desire. So it's almost like you do have to be on that level of I don't want to be with anybody, and then all of a sudden somebody comes and you have your happily ever after. Um, so d- During that, like I had already gone through my healing. I had already gone through everything when I saw her story. I was like right at the end of my like sadness about my healing because um, going through healing makes you very emotional and you have to feel emotions that you probably haven't felt or you've probably run away from for a long, long time. You've heard that saying how people who are like really quiet and then all of a sudden something happens and they just like blow up for no reason. That's what happens. Like people like that, like me. I'm like one of those people used to be. I would get hurt or I would something would happen to me and I would pack that feeling down so low that I was just kept packing up feelings of things happened to me to the point that it could have exploded. I could have like had some type of crisis or breakdown or something because of how I never wanted to deal with any of my feelings, any bad feelings that make me feel bad. I like to just stay in happy mode all the time. So going through my healing made me face those things and actually release them. And so during my healing, I was just like releasing a whole bunch of stuff. And it felt good to be releasing it, but it was also, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling every single feeling. I'm feeling everything that I've been packing in, holding on to all of those things. But it's just making me such a better person. And I know that I feel it. Like I feel like a totally different person. I feel like a whole weight has been lifted off of me. So I say that, I say all that to say that even though I had gone through that part of my healing and I was getting right at the end when I heard this story and I listened to this series over a couple of days, um, what I learned is that wow, I was like that. I probably would have like looked over a whole bunch of red flags because somebody is presenting something to me and I'm believing every word they say because I just want this fantasy like relationship, this ideal relationship. And I would have known better. And for me, if I was in that situation, it would have worked for a couple of months. I probably would have brought into it in the back of my mind. I would have been like, I don't know, something's just not right here. And then eventually I'd have been like, okay, now that's it. But she went on ahead and got married to him, and then had to find out the really hard way. Either way, um, when you're in a situation where you're kind of desperate, let's just call it is, you are desperate to be in this type of situation, you lose all identity of who you are, what makes you great. You lose your intuition. You lose certain things about yourself because you're all in on this idea that this is going to work. This is my happy ever after. And you go into delusional land, you go into la la land, and you just throw everything out. So, how do you protect yourself from being there? It has a lot to do with self love. A whole lot of people are having this discussion on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere. Everybody's talking about this situation. Her sharing her story has really helped people understand, like, how do I how can I recover and be better? Like, I don't want to be in this Risa Tisa situation. Nobody wants to be in that. That was like a horrible story. Um, and so I think it comes down to this last lesson that I had, which is being able to self validate yourself. A lot of women, including myself, I used to uh, seek validation from a man. I don't know what it is about a man, but as soon as a man comes and tells me I look good, I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, I didn't just look in the mirror and like make myself up to look good. I signed off on how good I looked that morning before I went out to be told that I look good. But it's something about hearing that from a man that is like, oh, I feel validated. I did it. And then when you are constantly holding on to that validation from a man who's calling you every day, telling you all these sweet nothings, a man who is making you feel seen and heard. Uh, it's something about that. And I used to like desire that attention from a man so much. And when he would give it to me, I don't care what was going on in his life, it just made me feel so good. That's like the honeymoon stage of when you first meet somebody and they're just pouring all these, like, love bombing you, like just telling you all these things you want to hear. It's like, yes, 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 give it to me. Yes. Thank you for all of the compliments. I love it. And so when you're not validating yourself in that way, you will invite people to give that to you, and you kind of reward them unfavorably, like unfairly. Like they didn't do anything to deserve your prizes just for saying something that you should already know about yourself. Does that make sense? So that was the part of my healing journey that resonated with me so much. That self validation. It is all about knowing who you are, being comfortable in your own skin, um, giving yourself that reassurance that, yes, girl, you are the bomb. And just because somebody comes up to you and tells you that doesn't mean that they are worth getting all of your attention, all of your love, and all of what you are capable of giving. Like this, there's got to be so much more that they have to give to earn that from you. And that self validation can come, the lack of self validation can come from trauma. And of course, mine was all linked to my childhood trauma. I had some abandonment issues I talked about. There were some real traumatic things that happened to me that I couldn't understand what I did. There's really nothing that I did. I was a child. I should not have had those things happening to me. But unfortunately, things do happen. And in our world, in our lives, like we go about life and we think that certain actions that you do will result in certain consequences. Well, when you're a child and there's not really, like, you don't even know about actions, you don't know about any of that stuff, and something bad happens to you, you're like, oh, well, something must be wrong with me. I must be broken because all this stuff is happening to me. And so that's how I grew up. I was thinking all this time that I was broken. Like I needed to figure out, how do I fix myself? Like, how do I look in your eyes? Because in my eyes, I must, something's broken. And what about you? Do you think I'm broken? Do you think I'm good? Like, what is it? And as soon as you would say, oh, you're good, you're such a good person, blah, 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 it just made me feel better about myself. And then I started just needing that everywhere I go. I just want everybody to recognize me. Tell me I look good. Tell me I am good. Tell me what kind of person. Tell me I'm not broken. And I just relied on that so much from everybody else. But being able to rely on that for yourself and going before God and saying, hey, God, I felt like I was a broken child. Like something happened to me and I'm not sure why it happened. God will give you that reassurance. And that's what has happened for me. I did that forgiveness. I did that not blaming anything or anybody or even myself for what happened to me, but just accepting it happened. Look at me. I got through it. I am thriving. I don't need anybody else to validate me for the things that I've gone through and have made it through. I'm such a strong individual. I don't have to say it loud and clear. I don't have to go out here and just tell everybody, look at me. I'm just such a great person. I don't have to do any of that. I just have to know it and move about in my life like I know it and not wait on anybody else to tell me something that I already know for myself. That's been a powerful, powerful, powerful lesson to learn throughout this journey. And it feels really, really good to be in this space where I know that nobody is gonna be able to come in with these sweet little nothings like words and no actions and win my heart over. Not anymore. Those days are mwah, gone. Bye bye. So, uh, yeah, I feel so much better. I'm getting my energy back. I am being consistent again on my weight loss journey. Um, things are just looking up for me. And while I'm not in a relationship yet, um, I know that I'm ready for it. So whenever it's ready for me, I'm going to be here, and I'm not seeking it. I'm not looking for anything. I'm actually just kind of cool right now. I'm actually cool. I just want to keep getting to know Renika more and like be around Renika more because Renika's a pretty cool person. That's all I want to do. I want to get to know myself more, be around myself more, take care of myself more, continue praying to God, getting to that higher version of me, like reaching that best version of me. That just makes me feel so happy because I know I'm heading towards that best version, and that best version is the bomb. I'm so excited. So, yeah, that's my lesson. Self validation is so important. Um, And there are times like we do need validation from other people. Like for instance, if there are things in my life that I don't know anything about, then of course I'm gonna need somebody to validate me to make sure I'm doing it right. Help me understand that this is the right move. This is what I should be doing. And okay, I got it. Great. Now I can go and take that what I learned, validate myself, and keep it moving. But just me knowing who I am, my self validation, yeah, that's all on me. And I get that now. I hate that it took me so long to get here to learn that, but I'm so happy I'm here. Maybe it was meant for me to take this long to learn it, but I made it. So I thank you all so very much for listening to me on this little 3-part series of how I have been healing. I'm going to be switching up my content over the next few weeks. It's still going to be self-care stuff and really talking through some things to help you on your own self-healing journey. But I think I want it to be a little bit more entertaining and to do things that will that you all will appreciate, that will have you coming back for more. So stay tuned as I prepare myself over the next few weeks to continue to grow in this space and to get better and better. Thank you so much for joining and watching today. Um, if you want to reach out to me on any of my social medias, you can find me down here at the bottom. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me on YouTube, um, TikTok, wherever you find me. Send me a DM. I'm happy to set up some time to talk with you and to help you on your journey, because I'm one of those people that if I can share something that's going to help you out, I just want the world to be like a really great place to be in. And I want people to feel as good as I feel going on these journeys. So reach out to me. I hope that you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.